The Supreme Court is allowing the Trump administration to temporarily implement its bigot ban, preventing transgender individuals from serving in the military. The reason why it's a temporary decision is because the Supreme Court did not weigh in on the merits of the case. They will allow the legality of the policy to work through the lower courts. Normally, the Supreme Court does not operate this way, okay? So, again, they did not weigh in on the merits of the case because it's still working its way through the lower courts, right? So, normally, it would have to finish going up through the lower courts before the Supreme Court actually takes the case in any form or fashion. So after Trump announced that transgender individuals were not permitted to serve in the military in July of 2017, a court battle ensued. And that led to multiple federal judges blocking the policy from being implemented. In November of 2017, Judge Colleen Kalar-Catelli ruled that the military had to allow transgender recruits to start enlisting by January 1st, 2018. Now, just a few months ago, in November, Solicitor General Noel Francisco urged the Supreme Court justices to weigh in on the case, saying that the lower court's ruling blocked the policy that's, quote, necessary to place the Department of Defense in the strongest position to protect the American people. That is what led the justices, and when I say the justices, of course, I mean the conservative justices, to actually weigh in on this and say that, you know what, okay, we're going to allow the administration to temporarily block these people from serving in the military, even though it goes against precedent.
That's discrimination, dog.
Yes, very
Just to put it
blatantly, very blatantly.
And it's kind of using the same, I guess, talking point as a backdrop to justify it. The whole, protect American people.
Yes.
Similar to, I guess, the justification behind the push for the wall. It's the same. It's the same
kind of lie.
It's the same kind of lie. We got to protect the American people. But what is being suggested here? That individuals who are transgender cannot do the job.
Yes.
That's what they're suggesting, and quite simply, they're opening themselves up for a lawsuit.
Yeah, and it's already been a lawsuit. It's already been a lawsuit. It's just that it hasn't made its way all the way up to the Supreme Court yet. It's in the lower court. But there have been multiple federal judges, like I stated earlier, that have blocked this because from the statements that we have read and have reported on in the past, they don't see that this is constitutional, and they don't see how the administration's case, or they don't see that the administration is making their case saying that letting these transgender individuals serve in the military puts the safety of America at risk, or speaks to how they are not qualified to do their job properly.
Because, see, you have to kind of look at the undertones of it. There's a whole bunch of suggestions that are being made. So it probably surrounds this kind of flawed idea of masculinity, number one. And it also disacknowledges or doesn't acknowledge that, the kind of work they do. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, this is people are always, probably picturing, some transgender person getting into some sort of bayonet battle with somebody.
Right.
They have probably was that movie 300? You know what I'm saying? They probably have that kind of image of war and mugs just fighting hand-to-hand combat, some sort of Hollywood type simulation of war.
Right.
When that's not the case. I don't understand why somebody who is transgender wouldn't be just as capable of, I don't know, intelligence gathering, or let's say being a nurse in the military, or we have a friend, and he dealt with the food part.
Yeah.
He dealt with food inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many different jobs in the military that really don't have anything to do with gender or our perceptions of it. It just doesn't even make logical sense.
Like you said, like you were just saying, this ban, this transgender ban, i.e. it's a bigot ban, okay? That's all it's about. It has nothing to do with these current or potential service members and their abilities to perform their duties. It has nothing to do with physical or mental fitness. It has nothing to do with this being a disruption to the safety of America and our armed forces. It has nothing to do with that. President Trump used that word, disruption, and it's absolutely a fallacy. Okay, he also talked about I guess the cost of these transgender individuals, if they, their doctor's costs, if they're going through a transition or whatever. First of all, it's not that many of them. Okay, first of all, it's not that many of them, and we've already looked at the cost before, and we talked about that months and months ago, how it's really not that substantial anyways. Okay?
So that's just some sort of like excuse that they're using.
So
especially in the face of spending so much already.
Exactly. Getting more money than asked for the military budget. So the Pentagon spokesman, Lieutenant Colonel Carla Gleason, she said in a statement, "As always, we treat all transgender persons with respect and dignity. DOD's proposed policy is not a ban on service by transgender persons. It is critical that DOD be permitted to implement personnel policies that it determines are necessary to ensure the most lethal and combat effective fighting force in the world. DOD's proposed policy is based on professional military judgment and will ensure that the U.S. Armed Forces remain the most lethal and combat effective fighting force in the world."
You know what I got? I think you kind of perceive that the same way I do, and that's just a more button-up way of being bigoted.
Yes,
that was just
a whole bunch of words that said nothing.
Whole bunch of like technical jargon and kind of intellectual, like just blah blah blah.
And here's another one too. This is from a spokesperson for the Justice Department. Her name is Carrie Kupek. And she said in the statement, "Due to the lower courts issuing nationwide injunctions, our military had been forced to maintain a prior policy that poses a risk to military effectiveness and lethality for over a year. We will continue to defend in the courts the authority and ability of the Pentagon to ensure the safety and security of the American people." Again,
more intellectual bigotry.
We have to secure the safety of the American people. So this is a crisis too. Not just the border. This is a crisis too. Letting transgender individuals actually serve in the military is a crisis. The American people are much less safe if transgender people are actually occupying various positions in the military. Yeah, okay. Yeah, y'all are not bigots. They're not bigots at all.
If they were really genuine about kind of illustrating how much danger we are in, they would kind of provide us with data.
Specific bullet points.
Yes.
Like we need like reference material.
We do need reference
times,
material.
Dates, situations, like what happened, what hampered our ability to be safe.
Basically, like we need some like sample sizes.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need a kind of a case study.
Yeah, we need something. We need specific, but I don't think we're gonna get that though.
No.
We're just gonna get a lot of.
We're gonna get intellectual blah blah.
Yes, yes. We gotta protect the American people. That's discrimination. We gotta protect the American people. Well, that's bigoted. We gotta protect the American people.
It doesn't matter that it's bigoted.
Okay.
We just gotta protect the American people.
Okay. All right.